You heard, yeah, so an ear-splitting scream, just imagine a griffin's roar. You heard that twice, and you heard metal on metal, some shouting, and then the shouting growing distant further on, and then you heard some more tumult, but very distant now. And now, it's just started to settle down, but it's been like a few hours.
Okay, it started to settle down. Ro would look at the people she's been caring for and kind of furrow her brow and kind of place her forehead in her hand. I really think I need to go and look after my newfound compatriots, but I'm worried if I leave you here, you'll be in danger.
You notice that Saith seems to agree with you completely. So you notice that the woman who introduced herself as Ophela seems to be way more calm, and her eyes sort of glance around the room slowly and easily, and upon hearing the prospect of you leaving, she kind of holds her chin thoughtfully and says, "Is there perhaps a room where we could lie low? Or I don't suppose you wish us to go with you?"
Honestly, these days, going with me might be more dangerous than lying low. Perhaps there is a room, but I think you might be safer here. This space is large, so it'll be tough to get cornered should you encounter someone with hostile intent. You'll have enough space to move around and perhaps escape or otherwise.
Both women look nervously, and they speak for a moment in Narsi to each other, and you notice that most of this little back and forth is Ophela trying to calm down Saith, who is like not okay with anything that's been happening recently. She's still very traumatized by the great white shark and, almost being a human sacrifice. So Ophela finally gets her to calm down and says, "I suppose we will barricade the doors with chairs."
Yes, and if I return and I don't use this phrase, if I don't mention a fine wine, then assume I'm under duress and being forced to return.
"A fine wine. Very well."
Yes.
And then she translates that to Saith.
On that, Ro begins to leave to attempt to join the party or investigate the previous noises. Which direction were they coming from?
The door to the west.
Right. So I didn't actually intend on opening those doors immediately. I'm going to place an ear to the door just one final time, see what I can hear.
You hear nothing.
All right. That's a good sign. And I go to open the door.
Have you ever seen the movie Backdraft?
Oh, a long time ago.
I saw it.
Oh no.
I saw the movie at the theater. It was great.
Just kidding. There's no Backdraft movie moment. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
All right. Ro is feeling a kind of growing concern with how long it's been. So she's going to throw a little bit of caution to the wind and move through the space with some swiftness.
Okay, to the left of you, you see the horrifying image, like walls are splattered with blood, and there's some knocked over candlesticks, and the huge body of a disturbing monster made from the amalgamation of great beasts found across the land.
She winces and kind of pinches her nose for a moment, trying to get the smell out.
So you enter this room, and you find to your left evidence of a huge force erupting from a hastily made cage and a griffin's corpse. Alright, do you wish to do anything in this room?
Huh, interesting. She wants to inspect like the griffin's claws and face, kind of its method of attack, and kind of she wants to learn a little bit about the creature just in case she encounters one.
Okay, so do you have a journal or anything to write in?
Oh, let me check. I think she might have calligraphy set.
I'm gonna say if you write it down and you make a little, take some time to write notes, then in your downtime you can kind of maybe add that to your knowledge of the animal or something.
Yeah, if you'll allow it, because it's actually not in my inventory, but she'd have some writing material. Practicing poetry and calligraphy was part of her training.
All right. So you do notice that two of the claws look to be, the talons look to be severed. But yeah, you make a note of that and everything. And in the room beyond, you see some sort of prison system with strange noises and smells, terribly odoriferous, wafting miasma assailing your nostrils. To your right, you hear and you see this giant, hulking, green, fleshy mass. To your left, you hear some sort of demonic, terrible, monstrous noises coming from somewhere nearby you.
Passing the griffin, she would take and pocket one of those talons and then pull out a torch and light it in this room. Whoa.
All right. So, now you see dimly, with dramatic shadows casting along crosshatched bars over their forms, a hideous monster that looks like several different beasts piled onto the same form, spines and bones, making some sort of disgusting inside-out figure. And to the north, you see a glaring visage frowning behind two tusks, a giant orc flexing his pectoral muscles at you and drooling. You can tell in the dim intelligence in his eyes that he's planning to, various ways of annihilating you.
Yeah, Ro's going to wince at this creature and just stare at it. Sorry, I kind of want to put you out of your misery, but right now's not the time. Okay, buddy, yeah, keep flexing.
To your left, the south, you see two still armed bugbears who just stopped talking to each other when you walked by. They stiffened and kind of broadened their shoulders, staring you down.
You speak good?
He says something to you in another language, followed by a threatening roar.
Okay, well, I mean, you're behind a cage, so save your energy, maybe. Oh, this place is awful.
When your back is turned to him, he violently responds by hitting his weapon against the barrier, but you do not hear metal on metal.
I'll take a glance back. What kind of weapon are they wielding?
It looks like iron swords. Iron sword and an iron little mace.
I'd kind of go to the edge here, keeping enough distance to where if the pointy end comes through the gate, it won't reach me, presumably.
You see kind of like a shimmering film, like, in Doctor Strange, where like all that mirror shit.
Interesting. I pull out my sword and tap it against the gate.
You hear a voice behind you saying, they won't open.
I prepare to throw. I don't actually throw it, but I tense my arm and prepare to throw the torch at whoever is speaking. But I quickly turn around to see who's talking.
A figure from the shadow emerges, a man kind of wringing his hands over one another, bony, disturbing bent fingers.
Are you all right? What is going on here?
It would seem interlopers from the outside world have come to change our schedule. They are holding me here. I assumed you had met them. One was a giant bird person.
Yeah, judging off of what I'm seeing here, I think you might become a part of this, quite literally. They seem to be combining grotesque body parts and creatures.
Oh, that's not going to happen. You see, I hold the key to this realm. However, if you would just unchain that little lock they fastened over this, that would be quite ideal. Then I could leave.
Holding a key to a realm and not to your cell, that's painful. I'd like to kind of judge their facial expressions, their tone of voice, to see how trustworthy I feel this person is.
You can see that he's been crying recently just because there's like red splotches over his eyes and nose. He has narrow eyes and long, sort of crooked nose, and you can see that he's kind of malnourished and a bit old, maybe in his 50s. I think it would be up to you to judge if you could trust him, although you might have recognized his voice from the time when you were brought in as prisoner 6 days ago. He just one of the regular staff members here, quote unquote.
So her expression becomes a little more coy. I think I recognize that voice from when I was in a cell not too long ago. Do you have anything to say about that?
The corners of his mouth twitch, and he says, I am merely a prisoner here. Your experiences in Marbridge have grown a muscle in your brain of detecting bullshit, detecting liars and swindlers, and he speaks like a man who's used to bending the truth but never breaking it fully. The way he kind of like almost smiles to himself after he said that might have meant that, yes, he is technically a prisoner at this moment.
Well, I am feeling compassionate, but not foolish. And she has 5 water skins in her pack, so she's going to sheathe her sword while still holding the torch and pull out one of her water skins. Can I toss it through the grates of this cell door, or would I have to, like, stick my hand closer to it?
You could try either one.
I'm going to try and chuck it through.
It bounces off.
That was
same
embarrassing.
Invisible barrier. He's like, allow me. And he gestures strangely with his hand, and the weird shimmer vanishes for a moment.
Oh, well, that's clever. And she'll pass the water skin through, and she'll actually hold it out for him.
He slowly accepts it and takes a long swig before offering it back.
You can keep that. I think you'll be needing it. I'm not letting you out.
I implore you to reconsider.
All right, I'll do that.
You need me. They gave me their word that they would let me out of here. Don't let them leave. I'm a human being, damn it.
Well, she looks around at the other beasts. What's your name?
My name is Kelvin.
Kelvin. Oh, nice to meet you. I'm Ro.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Ro of Moorbridge. Have you ever been there?
He squints his eyes like he's never heard of the place.
Yeah. Thought as much. Okay, so I let you out of here. And what's that mean for me? What happens then?
I could make you very powerful. I could teach you the ways of elemental fire. Please, should they agree to let me out, I will start my own temple, some way far away from here. I gave them my word I would leave Gorusad.
Okay. Alright. I'm reconsidering, but I'm looking for some friends. Have you seen anybody come through here?
How do you think I got in this cage?
Yeah. I mean, recently, some folk that aren't regulars here.
That's what I mean.
And I kind of describe the party.
He informs you that they are the ones who put him in here.
Oh. All right. Yeah, I'll check in with them. I'm sure they're planning on letting you out. They're a good bunch. Enjoy the water.
He grinds his teeth and then recedes into the shadows.
And then I'll keep walking.
In this room is it's very bare bones, but it seems to be set up sort of like an office. There's some sheafs of paper to your right and a sort of pantry. To your left is a strange machine. And before you is it's sort of set up like a mirror or a looking glass, but it's sort of like a ball of fire as it appears to you in the game.
And this room is a little more it has its own lighting sources. So I don't know the word. Is quaff the right word? Quaff the torch?
Douse?
Quench.
Quench?
Douse.
They're all great words. Yeah, I do that to my torch, and I make a quick glance at the strange machine, but spying the pantry, my stomach reminds me that I am out of food. So I'll go investigate the pantry real quick.
Okay, so inside is a jar of red paint.
I'll take that jar of paint.
You see some like basic supplies, like a tinder box. Nothing much of use in here anymore, but you do see some items on the shelf, like 2 weapon racks are now empty. You do see on the ground like signs of activity, footprints and blood prints.
I hope they're all right. What's this paper here?
So before you is a few sheets of paper, and one of them is a note. It appears to be some sort of letter, and the rest are blank.
I take the blank paper, and Ro says, the loot here is amazing. But she actually says that earnestly. It's not sarcasm. And I'll read the note.
So it is written in a very fine hand, but it's a note towards another member of the Cold Corridor, imploring them to leave before things get too bad. It's going on about how the Beholder is getting too paranoid, and these traps are ridiculous, and people are starting to get injured, and, this is never what we wanted anyway. So it's just kind of imploring another person within this temple to join the Red Corridor.
Oh, well, it sounds like someone has some sense here. I'll take the letter with the intent of studying the handwriting for potential forgery in the future.
Not a bad idea.
And what is this? Kind of keep my distance a little and start investigating this strange contraption.
Right before you is what might essentially look like a Tesla coil. It doesn't seem to have any levers or obvious ways to operate it. It seems to be made entirely out of copper and iron joints.
She's not the brightest sometimes, so she's going to poke it with her sword.
You hear a dull clang, making the monsters in the other room roar.
Oh yes, very scary.
And you hear Kelvin going, "Don't touch that."
Why?
"That is one of my experiments. Please, I put a lot of time and work into that."
Oh, it would be a shame if it broke somehow.
"Don't! It cost me a fortune!"
What's it do?
"I'm harnessing the elemental powers of air.
Well, I mean, our lungs already do that.
This device, if you must know, allows me to control these fields of energy with magic. Think of it as some sort of magical foci.
That sounds made up.
If you stand a bit closer, I'll be able to demonstrate."
I start backing away.
Shit.
Nice try. Well, I gotta join my friends. Maybe we'll talk later. Good talk. What is this?
So as you approach this strange altar, the fire expands in a perfectly rectangular form.
Does the fire look like standard fire, or do I see anything in it or through it? Is there some strange nature to the field around this flame?
You feel a wind blowing towards it.
Well, let's try this. I take out the jar of paint and chuck it at this flame.
The jar of paint vanishes.
I pull out one of my arrows, and while holding it, stick it through, and then attempt to pull the arrow back out.
You pull the arrow out, the wooden part is completely burned away. And the metal, is it a metal-tipped arrow?
Yeah.
Is red hot.
Kelvin,
Yes.
let's make a deal.
He eagerly walks closer towards the jail cell.
You tell me how to get through this space. I'm assuming my friends came through here, went into this room, and didn't come out. Is that true?
He takes a moment, wringing his hands and squinting his eyes more as if he's trying to decide something, and then sighs and says, "No, they went that way." He points to the east.
Oh. Okay. Well, for your honesty, I won't break your device. I begin to head east.
Very well. Once you go back this way, your flame catches the skeleton of a diminutive figure, maybe a dwarf or a halfling, in the eastern corner of this guy's cell. And next to him is a wall of text written in Dwarvish.
I have no idea what this says. Alright. I'm gonna keep moving through the rooms and look for signs of where the party may have gone.
So you see some sort of like a broken mirror in front of you and an open chest, but it looks like just, something they would keep clothes in. Other than that, in the debris field, that's basically it.
Okay, maybe they found something in that chest and locked this Kelvin fellow up. I'm curious what that one room had. That was strange. And then I'll move out into the hallway. Is this a door in front of me to another space?
So yes, there's a door to the left of you that's open, and the one in front of you is closed. There's a bucket next to it with some tools, a long kind of stone, a hammer, and a crumpled up piece of parchment.
I'll take a quick look at the parchment.
It says
Ooh.
refuse.
Alright, I'll pocket that too. I check the doorways to see for signs of like disturbed footprints or dust. I know that there was some bloody footprints before, so I'm looking for those as well.
So you do see that there does seem to be signs of foot traffic, like it's as if someone didn't dust only the sides of the entryway. This door in particular to the west seems to be left in a state of disrepair. As well,
right.
you smell, it smells like bacon or like a barbecue coming from the west, and also a little bit of burnt hair and smoke.
Ugh. Well, okay. I'll move through here.
So in this room, you can hear distantly the sounds of talking.
I'm gonna try to hide behind this pillar and listen to the talking.
So when you huddle up next to this pillar right here, you see, I don't know if I described it to you before, but the ruins that have been painted over with graffiti about the cultists depict people who look a little bit like Wolfrun, like heavy brows, wide jaws, and like stooped shoulders, but they're all performing rituals, and they're holding up their hands, and waterfalls are coming, like swirling markings are coming from their palms. And you can see recently that smears of drying blood have been drawn across it, as well as a man's body is on the other side of the pillar. You notice his legs sticking out. And so for the time being, I'll give the floor to everyone, since she'll be able to hear what you're saying.
Gonna say I'd probably just be going around and investigate, like, you know, seeing if there's any sort of additional, like, documents or loot around the place, but I probably would have just encountered all that by now.
This is the perfect time to look around if you want to.
Alright then. Then I guess as everyone else is taking care of what they're doing, I'm making my way up to the northwest corner to see what's in this big pile of things.
So as you pass Wolfrun, something to your right catches your eye. You can see ruins around this statue. It looks like someone converted what used to be a stone throne. Maybe someone appropriated the stone from an ancient throne for something else, and that made the base of some sort of altar where they put a statue of a knight recently. But around the base of this statue, every tile around it is colored kind of differently, and when Noodles the weasel walks over it, they sort of depress a little bit. There are 4 tiles colored green, red, white, and brown. But when you approach that other area, you find... So you see a massive pile of hair, as well as folded clothes, racks of more robes, and a pile of shoes. And you see 3 crates stacked on top of each other, a large crate and a smaller crate with a lantern on it. And that's basically it.
I'm going to basically just be miming, doing things over here, but after seeing what I did over by the altar, I'm using the opportunity away from everyone to just kind of like think to myself of what this might be. I would probably like be leafing through the boxes.
So in one of the boxes you see a very ornate porcelain teapot. It looks very expensive first off, and it's decorated with like weird murderous images on it. But in a way, if there's a word for it, where you draw one thing, but if you flip it over, it looks like another thing.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, yeah, but I can't remember the word.
So they look like flowers and trees and stuff, but if you flip it over, it's like people murdering each other.
I set that off to the side because I'll probably show it to other members in the party to see if they recognize the scene, and then I'd continue leafing through the crates.
You see provisions in one crate. You see another lamp that hasn't been assembled yet. By lamp, I mean lantern. And you see chalk and writing utensils in another. And do you open the large crate?
Yes.
It's shovels and mining equipment. And like a mountaineer's kit.
The only thing that Nolame would take from all of that would probably be the chalk. But again, he's mostly using this opportunity to leaf through and think to himself, what is this? And then also trying to puzzle out what he saw over by the altar.
When you rest, do you shave?
Do I grow facial hair?
You grow facial hair.
Yes, I do.
Okay. So,
Interesting line of question.
does anyone else want to do anything else?
I'll look over to the left. Do you think that they were using that equipment recently? Do you want to check out the expansion to the cavern over to the west?
Nolame looks over and realizes that he was so focused on the area with the documents, he didn't even look at the expansion, and nods and says, that seems like a logical course of action.
Ro, at this point you can hear your companions.
Yeah, so I rush into the room with relief on my face, and I see a lot of bodies.
So immediately this guy in a strange foreign knight's outfit tries to stop you.
Whoa, whoa!
Intruder! Who are you?
Who are everybody? Hello. I'm with them.
Now he starts doing his job.
Ro! Oh, are the others all right?
Yeah, they are. Who was it that smeared griffin blood on their face?
Wolfram.
Ro looks at Wolfram. By the gods, are you all right?
Never better.
All right. Who are the new friends?
And there's a man, kind of an old man, finishing off a mug of ale, and he seems a bit too nonchalant for this situation. There's also a knight that kind of stands a bit taller once you ask that question, and he says, I am Godwin, Elf Gloom. A pleasure to meet you.
Oh, that's quite the title. I'm Ro. Nice to meet you too.
He bows very courteously.
She gives a bow as well.
I apologize for stopping you so abruptly, but you never know who might lurk around the next corner. Your friends sprung me and my companion loose.
Oh, excellent. No hard feelings. Job well done. So what's well, there's a lot to take in here. And she would ask for a quick recap of everything that had happened.
Well, we managed to stop a ritual that was going on here that would have seen Avendrad burned to the ground. Now we're just picking through the pieces, I suppose. I don't think we've really gotten much of a read on that individual over there, Zaid says, looking at the man with the mug. Oh, one other thing, though. I have this for you. You might find it an appropriate weapon for your skill. And Zaid will hand over the Knight's Heart Sword.
It says Kalen across its middle, on the blade.
Her eyes go wide, and a look of appreciation comes over her face. This is an amazing gift. Thank you. I'm sure it'll see use soon enough. And she kind of tests the weight and moves it around just to get a feel for swinging the sword.
It's incredibly well balanced. It must have been made by the finest swordsmith in all the land.
She struggles to pull her attention away from the sword. She clearly just wants to sit in the corner and gawk at it, but she draws her attention back to everybody else.
Godwin, would you mind gathering the other two and bringing them here? I feel like we might be able to advance further and keep them closer if we use this as our new beachhead.
Very well, I'll be back. Keep an eye on this one. He nods.
Before you leave, Godwin, there's a code phrase I set up with them to make sure their retrieval was under safe circumstances. So make sure you mention a fine bottle of wine. They'll know they're safe with you if you do that.
Both of the people who live in Avendrad and maybe Wolfrun recognize the miller from the last battle.
Yeah.
So at the mention of wine, he kind of perks up and adds, "Oh yeah, don't drink the wine from these bottles.
Oh, that's a good tip. Thank you."
Some sort of powerful sedative." And then he nods towards the sacrifice. "Got annoyed by them kicking and screaming before the time comes."
Speaking of, should we check on her?
She seems healthy. It's a miracle that she's still alive. She appears to be sleeping.
Coulter was just looking for any potential magic dangers or objects of interest, as he does. That's all, just making sure whatever these guys were up to is nullified. All the fires are out, as you would say. And
These people look perfectly normal until you touch them, and then their forms sag into a pile of ash. But their clothes seem completely undamaged.
pull back. Coulter's a little, he's might not be showing it, but he's a little in awe of the divine miracle, basically, that was recently witnessed. So he's still sort of just quietly, Coulter's just being quiet and just examining the room.
Nolame would begin looking into the expansion over here, and as he does, he thinks he has an idea of what he's going to do about those 4 depressing portions of the base of the altar throne thing.
There seems to be evidence of a cave-in turned into an expansion project. It seems like only in the last few days they set someone to work mining a new wing to this dungeon, or temple or whatever it's called. There's no cave out or anything like that. It looks like they only just recently started, but you do see a lantern and a pickaxe, as well as a few bricks where they caved in or pushed out the wall. Oh, there's also a giant pile of coal.
Okay, Nolame just relates this to the rest of the party that it doesn't look like they made the initial break here, but it seems like they were taking the opportunity to expand it. Although, I suppose that raises the question of what did they need more space for in this giant temple that they have here?
Although we may have to find out later. I believe there's still more time-sensitive rituals that may be going on with that beholder individual. I think we should maybe grab any empty water skins we might be able to find, pick up some of this sleeping wine if it might come in handy later, and then continue on. I don't know what we're supposed to do with this individual here, though.
I mean, he seems pretty self-containing, and I look over at him and say, there's no better alcohol out there. Are you planning on leaving this room?
He looks around as if he's not sure he'll get bored or not, and then finally nods. About time to get home.
Well, at least he's honest. Yet Nolame turns back to the altars. He was only half listening about Zaid saying we need to go because he's fascinated by these buttons.
Wolfrun, now that you're here, you can hear the two females and Godwin talking to each other in the other room, but they've returned. Do you want to do anything? Talking's a free action, so if you guys want to interrupt each other or anything.
Wolfrun's gonna go take a look at this statue real quick just to see if it has the same kind of features. If he can make out features underneath that helmet. He's also going to move very quickly.
Yeah.
So you see on this little shield, it says, "The power of elemental death brings mortals low, but raises the nameless one high." And trying to peer into the statue's helmet, you don't see any features carved.
The statue was not here originally. Does it show sign of having been moved here?
It is not connected to the platform it sits on.
Okay.
And as you walk on the 4 tiles next to the stairs, they kind of depress.
Oh, that's interesting. Can I kneel down and kind of like press on them with the butt of my crossbow, keeping myself at a distance?
Each one depresses.
Nothing happens that I can see.
So imagine a square of 4 tiles. Actually, I'll draw it.
Perfect.
I'm gonna write this down.
Ro would also try to make friends with Noodle.
This riddle inscribed on the shield in common.
It is in
Is
common,
that
yes.
correct? And that is the power of elemental death brings mortals low but raises the nameless one high.
Indeed.
All right.
I wonder what happens if we just depress all 4.
Coulter would think about this phrase over and over and possibly pull out that tome that we bought, that their cult official handbook or whatever. Elemental death. Water.
What are you lot doing back there?
Air, earth.
There's some tiles that are depressed and an inscription, and we're trying to figure out why this might be.
The 4 elements are represented by the colors.
Pry them up out of the floor. Just use the pickaxe. Find what they're connected to.
Oh, so he's a scientist now.
Well, yeah, I don't understand a lot of things, but if they are protected with any sort of strange magic, prying them up might be a bit dangerous.
It'll prevent them from being used by someone else. We don't have time to fiddle around with every nook and cranny here.
Well, if our purpose here is to make sure that this temple becomes reconsecrated, this cult is wiped out, we really should examine all possibilities of escape routes or other cells within the compound.
Zaid starts to get a little bit frustrated, and he goes over to the statue.
Ro would like to attempt a combination. She would like to first step on the brown tile, then the green tile, then the red tile, and the white.
Earth, water, fire, air.
For a moment, the brown one felt like it stuck.
I'm thinking about this. I could use some help, though. Brings mortals low, but raises the nameless one high. Elements. I mean, brown is closest to the earth.
Aye.
Green sits on top of that. But I think that's
Green
where my
is
logic
water.
started to fail.
Zaid is throwing a rope over the neck of the statue.
Coulter says, green would be water, red would be fire, brown would be earth, and the white would be air. That is my guess. I could be wrong, but from my studies and
Well,
that's my
I do
honest guess.
believe brown is the first step. So if that's true, then what does that infer?
The equivalent of a tumbler would have fallen into place by you clicking that one first. There's two other possibilities of what might come next unless we were to press brown twice. So try pressing the red one after the brown one this time and see if it sounds like something falls into place.
All right, I'll do that. I wonder if brown is first, what does that mean brown represents? If it represents earth, and then earth is the first, what does that say about the others and the order they would be in? And she can't quite piece it together, but she does step on the brown and then the red.
Doesn't appear like anything happens.
Zaid is going to start stepping back away from the statue to gain leverage and start pulling to try and pull it down.
So before this happens, the party can see collectively that Zaid is trying to pull the statue down.
I'll lend a hand.
I'm going to get out of the way.
Alright, the statue falls face first onto the ground, covering the red and brown tiles.
Well, what's your plan here with this statue?
Defacing it.
Oh, success.
Mission accomplished. Let's go home, gentlemen.
Are these wooden slats behind the statue?
They are.
Anybody have a crowbar?
There's a pickaxe right over here.
That could work. Wait, I might actually have a crowbar.
I grab the pickaxe.
I do have a crowbar. I'll try to peel one of the slats off.
You make a crack in it, and you can see, well, it's kind of hard to see, but it does appear to be a hollow form.
Well, take a swing with your pickaxe.
Right.
Tiles. What could it mean?
This is some tough wood.
It continues to snap until there's an opening. With your dark vision, you can see an interconnected pulley system made of chains and winches.
Interesting. It appears to be some kind of mechanism, possibly for raising or lowering, possibly sections of the floor or ceiling. I'm not sure which. I'm not much of an engineer, I'm afraid.
Do these cultists have a order of priority with the elements, ones that they think are more important or powerful than the others?
That seemed to be a matter of debate amongst them.
What about that man in a cell? He might know.
You raise a good point.
I had some luck getting him to talk earlier.
He's also kind of a liar.
We don't need to respect whatever little game they've set up here. We should just dismantle it as best we can or move on.
I won't argue there.
My point being, Zaid, is that it's not so much dismantling it and getting rid of it, it's finding out where it might lead, and I'm afraid that if we break it, we'll never find out, and whoever or whatever is hidden behind there can escape.
Pull on those chains, then. You've already got access to the next step.
I begin pulling on the chains.
I try to move the statue away preemptively, just in case the chains are prevented from moving due to the weight of the statue being kind of on these tiles.
The chains do not move, they hold fast, as if something heavy is connecting them, or they're locked around something perhaps. And the statue is now on its belly, so it does not move.
We sure could use a barbarian right now.
Is there anything else revealed on the statue now that it's been moved or on its face that we didn't notice before?
It appears to be some sort of widely made statue of a crusader, and this is a term used for the crusade of Arcturus. So it could either be some sort of old statue of Arcturus himself or one of the saints.
If the chains are held taut, that means that they're acting to keep something in place. Just break the chains and then they'll release whatever they're holding on to.
Ro looks at the ceiling. Does she see anything of note?
You see a stone ceiling.
Okay. Ro is thinking about the carvings of the water elements in this other room. The sort of figures that seem to be like summoning water or holding back water. As she looks over that column again, does she only see imagery of water?
Correct. Like kings and people who look important, swirling flowing lines coming from their hands. And to Nolame, this looks to be some sort of modern pulley system. You've seen this under Keld's secret society and hideout.
Okay. So, based upon his experience and what he's seeing right now, Nolame conveys that this is a system that members of the Thieves Guild in Avendrad have used in a lesser capacity before, and so it can be dangerous if we cut anything in the pulley mechanism because we have to use the principle of leverage to actually open or close what we need. And without the pulleys intact, we can't do that.
From that investigation, you'd know that whatever the counterweight is, it's not visible in this room.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be moving quickly if we do anything. We barely just managed to prevent the ritual that was happening in here. Who knows how many other rituals are going on elsewhere?
I want to try one last thing here. If anybody's on the tiles, could you please step off for just a moment?
The statue is laying on 2 of the tiles right now.
Let's stand on all 4 and just eliminate that possibility.
I like that idea.
Sure.
Let's start eliminating possibilities. Coulter's had enough of you.
Ro tries to push the statue and kind of looks to everybody else for help.
Wolfrun starts helping Ro.
All right, you roll the statue aside.
All right. I think we all attempt to stand on the tiles at the same time for one of the ideas.
So
Let us
Brown,
eliminate the possibilities.
Coulter, where
If
do you
think
stand?
The white, the air.
Okay.
I will stand here.
Oh my god. Okay.
What?
That is the correct order.
Oh my fucking god. What?
You're welcome.
I'll show you
Wait.
my notes later, so you guys can confirm.
Earth-
Show me your what?
My notes
Earth,
later.
air, water, fire.
So what was the combination again?
It is brown, white, green, red.
And I didn't know that, by the way. I'm just
That
not
is
that I
really
just
funny that
randomly.
we stepped on it in that order.
That's
That's
great.
the power of faith, my friends.
So
What happens?
as you all start to do this, the entire platform starts to lower like an elevator.
Oh, I'm so glad we got that right because I didn't want to miss whatever this is.
Right.
It was nagging me. Coulter's like, this is important. I have these intuitions, these divine intuitions, and I'm like, yeah, my logical wizard brain's going like, whoa, there's only, especially since you seem to have found a trick with the first one being Earth, and there's only so many combinations.
I'm
I was
really
just-
curious about this note that just has refuse written on it.
Oh, yeah, you might need to let me help decipher that.
Yeah, once we have a little more downtime.
You notice inch by inch that this lift keeps descending, and it doesn't look like it's going to stop anytime soon.
And it's
Nothing but-
descending.
It is lowering.
Yeah, Rose going to throw caution to the wind because of her curiosity and dive in.
So
All aboard.
when Godwin sees this, he calls from across the room. What are you doing? What's going on?
We're hunting cultists.
What about us?
You can come with.
It doesn't seem like there's any room. What should I do?
We'll wait here until we say it's safe.
All right.
He could go watch the women for us. Or-
He can keep an eye on the drunk in the corner.
I'm surprised you didn't kill that guy.
Oh, I'm not gonna kill a man for enjoying his booze.
All right, is everyone in that room who wants to be in there? Noodles is behind.
Noodles,
Noodles
can
is
stay
the
up
lookout.
top. Yeah, he's guarding.
You control Noodles, so if you want Noodles to come with you, you can.
Nah, Noodles can stay up there for right now.
If it gets dark, I'm definitely gonna cast a light on something, a ring.
Very well. So you are now illuminated, but it would seem that this wasn't necessary because as the platform reaches its final destination, the entire room is lit by luminescent gemstones.
Oh.
A huge cluster of green gems and 2 blue gems. It's a small room. On its eastern side is a door that seems to be locked in place. There are 2 levers on either side.
Ro is going to try to chip off a piece of this gemstone, like something small that she could make or commission jewelry out of.
All right, you now have raw emerald.
Ooh.
Nolame does the same for the blue.
You now have raw sapphire.
Frun begins examining the levers. I pull the lever.
Everyone dies now.
Hell yeah.
Cool.
I knew it.
I hate it when everyone says cool. Makes me want to cry.
Rocks fall.
Well, because we died together, you know?
Oh,
If you're gonna die.
Okay, so slowly, the wall in front of you unhinges and falls away.
Where's your assumptions now, Paladin?
So you see a forgotten part of a subsection of the dungeon. To your right, everything is dusty and dank smelling. It's completely pitch black to anyone who doesn't have dark vision. Thankfully, the light of the crystals that you carry and Coulter's light spell illuminate the surrounding area, casting long shadows on all the walls. Roe and Wolfrun see forgotten cobwebs coated in dust to the south, a door to the east, and to the north, a cubby of a cave or some sort.
It doesn't look like this has been traversed in a while. Tracker, does it appear that any of these cultists have been using this? Or have even they not solved the riddle of the elements?
Let me take a look.
If someone's down here, they certainly heard our arrival.
So Wolfrun, you notice signs of foot traffic going north and south.
Yes, there has been someone down here. It looks like they're headed between the north and the south corridors here.
Noleme, as you approach the door, something to the south draws your half-elvish ear.
Is there anything specific that I can pull out from it?
You hear a now familiar guttural language echoing off of distant stone walls.
I turn in that direction and then quietly say to Ro that it seems as though there may be more of our friends from the cells down here.
Ro nods slowly and pulls out her long bow and gets an arrow ready.
Nolame does the same with his short bow.
Zaid'll kind of jiggle the handle of the door to the left.
You know in Bree when they open that weird spy hatch? Like, who are you? What's going on here? It briefly opens to show the face of a cultist and then immediately slams closed again.
Nolame pulls out his tools and attempts to investigate the locking mechanism on this door and whether it's just been barred from the inside or whether it's been truly locked.
There does appear to be a locking mechanism, and all of you can hear that the talking in the distance has died down to a still silence.
Nolame takes out his thief tools and begins probing the lock, testing what type of lock it is, what sort of mechanism is actually keeping things in place.
Try to open it?
Yes.
The door opens.
As soon as Nolame feels the final click, he quickly shuffles back so he's just not kneeling in front of a suddenly opened door, and he retrieves the bow and arrow where he left it on the ground.
Wolfrun shoulders his crossbow and places a bolt.
And Ro will ready an arrow to release if she sees any target she perceives as hostile or deserving of an arrow.
All right. So the door is open and you find the man who is looking at you through the spy clasp, holding two daggers that were familiar to all of you who were there for the Battle of the Glade. He is silent, though. You hear distant chittering of rats and sounds of flames lapping tongues of fire in the distance. Other than that, the room seems empty here.
Drop your daggers.
Who are you? The man says from behind his skull mask. Wolfrun
The
and
three archers, I imagine, tense, and we're all aiming at him. Because it's... Ro also has a bow, right? So it's me, Ro, and Wolfrun.
Yeah.
Let's see how dumb this guy is. He drops his daggers to the ground and slowly raises his hands, showing that he's wearing bone-themed gloves.
Zaid motions with his rapier over to the side for him to move away from the daggers. Then he steps forward, picks both of them up, and then moves past him.
Your black corridor.
He looks at you, his eyes shining in the dimness, and says, "Black, no. The time for corridors is coming to an end, I feel. I am just one man."
What happened to the rest of your corridor?
It is my understanding that they were killed in the forest.
By blue? By the red?
By
Sharks.
us, I imagine.
Yeah, that's where I was headed. You didn't have to
Zai,
say
do you
it,
say
though.
that?
Yes.
Fuck.
Uh-oh.
He tenses and suddenly goes silent.
I don't think we need any of these pretenses at the moment anymore.
This makes things much more straightforward. He knows that he's the last of his kind, and that no one's going to come to save him. So if he wants to make it out of this, he has to make sure that he's not upsetting us.
We'll just have this then. I'd go to remove his mask.
I need to flip to my page for him. This morning I was like, why am I writing backstories for all these fuckers?
Then you remembered who we are,
This
and
is
we're going to
why.
ask all of the questions.
Because you guys are awesome.
Who was
Alright.
your third grade teacher? Why is that important to the plot? We
So-
don't know!
He has short, straight white hair and brown eyes. He has smooth, tanned skin, of average height, a square, forgettable face. He has a confident voice even in the face of danger. Everyone who is brought up in Avendrad doesn't seem to recognize him.
I wasn't brought up in Avendrad. Do I recognize him?
I mean, you've been around Avendrad. You do not recognize him.
Kind of bad with faces, anyways.
Zaid, we could try and get some immediately useful information out of him. You and I will Wolfrun, Coulter, and Roe look around the room and see if there's anything that would help us possibly understand what we might find further on in the temple.
I think the information gathering may be better lent to Wolfrun while I deal with that suspicious altar over there.
Ah! I did not even notice that altar. Yes, I imagine that is where your skills would be best put.
Ro says, I think I'm going to stay out here, just keeping an eye on this hallway. Make sure we don't get surprised by anyone.
There was something talking down the end of that hallway. So if a lot comes rushing at you, come back in here and we'll seal the door.
I'll try.
You don't see any traps, Zaid. You do see that this must be some sort of torture or information gathering chamber.
You can see Coulter was already approaching this table of morsels.
Coulter, you see evidence of some sort of rudimentary filing system. Most of his victims seem to have been nobodies with no important information. There's a complicated ledger with doodles in the margins to boot, stating which poisons he used or how much skin he removed. He seems to be collecting blood in a giant barrel in the corner, and on the table are demarcated 3 different types of poison and 3 different manuals of torture.
Observing all this, my hands folded in my robes, perfectly away from touching anything. Remarked that it looks like a poisoner's table. I just glance over all the written materials and I just don't touch anything, but I just use my eyes to observe. I do kind of mumble out loud that I believe this is some kind of poisoner's assembly.
Nolame turns to the cultist that's down here and says, maybe we got off on the wrong foot. We came to an arrangement with a man going by the name of Jorah Greencloud, who I imagine you know very well.
He laughs tartly at that.
The arrangement is one that's similar to the one that we can offer you, which is that we won't use these instruments down here to gradually peel your toes off one by one. Jorah found this argument quite persuasive, and we didn't have this fine arrangement of tools that you have here. So you're going to start off by answering at least one question, which is what else is down here with us? A natural 20?
Now demasked, his eyes find every place in the room except for your own, and he says, what's down here? There are all manner of things. If you're looking for the dark corridor, this isn't it. These are the dregs. And I am the humble prisoner who might source information for our fine temple here. Although, as I understand, being the master of information, that isn't going to last very much longer, is it?
That all depends upon the actions that you take. Now, you say this isn't the dark corridor. What do you have to tell us of the dark corridor that's worth your... I'll let you decide, the digits on your left or your right foot.
What I do know is that the Beholder has developed something of a favor for them, a fondness. And as he's erected so many of these traps we have to jump around every single day, he must have developed some way for the Dark Corridor to access his audience around them, because I haven't seen them for days, but I do hear edicts and messages from His Eminence every other day. They must be further in, no doubt in his audience chamber, and then he nods towards the north.
What is the Beholder afraid of? That he has so many traps. What is he so concerned with?
His paranoia is a sickness of the mind and the heart. It develops from everywhere and nothing at once. I don't know where it stems from because he's become silent to the other corridors ever since we separated ourselves from one another. But I don't feel like that separation is the origin of his suspicion. It's something deeper within himself. I used to think it was greed or a strive for power, but that can't be a means to an end. It can't put the fear of everything in a man's heart. He must be protecting something or want something so badly he can't stand the thought of losing it. And I feel like time is no longer in our hands. If the ritual upstairs and the corridors are broken.
That doesn't tell us any more than we already knew. I'm going to give you one last opportunity to think of something that you might be able to tell me that is useful, or we don't have time to stay here any longer. And if we can't stay here and you haven't been useful, I'm not leaving you here with all of your toes.
Useful. His eyes dart wildly, his face contorting, as a man's face does when he's used to wearing a mask for days on end. And he says, he's having a meeting with someone, either today or in the coming days.
How about this over here,
One of the artifacts we've discovered in this temple. It belonged to the Ancient Ones. It helps us dominate the mind and destroy them, making them pliable for torture. Though I've determined it is cursed, I have no magics to combat its dark ways.
Who are the Ancient Ones?
He gestures outside, and across from Ro is a mural of more of those strange stone men. Whoever built this castle. I joined this organization in the promise that we'd be retaking our birthright, that there was some sort of ancient kingdom before the Demon Wars, and we would unite the Gorusad Peninsula, based on our race, the true race of Gorusad. In our traditions, worshipping Sylvanas was only the beginning. It's all about the ancient ways, but only in the past did I discover that he was never really interested in any of that. I think the others thought that too, and that's why the corridors separated.
Does the artifact or device look like it is fragile in any way?
It is unclear, but it doesn't look made out of glass.
Zaid, isn't there something you're supposed to be looking for to help the snake men?
Maybe I'm having a false memory, but I recalled it being described as orange or yellow, and that's also an orb rather than a gem.
It's your charge, I'm just making sure.
This might be some sort of magical focus. You've heard tell of stories about seeing stones.
Your culters over here silently wincing and watching and just like unable to do much. So if I may.
But you don't wish us to destroy this foul, accursed object?
Well, with all due respect, we don't properly know what the use of these objects may be.
They're
we
used to
don't know.
dominate the mind of ancient beings. Clearly, we cannot allow such a weapon to remain.
And who is it that has told you of this stone's power?
Zayed looks over to the unmasked cultist.
This deceitful torturer and poisoner of innocence? I believe it should be examined, as all these items should be, by proper minds and proper authorities.
Be my guest, Carter, but we can't leave it here.
I mean, we shouldn't leave it here for others to find, but that doesn't mean we can't take it and examine it as well.
Take it.
You
You're
don't know what...
braver than I if you're willing to hold possession on an object made to dominate minds that not even these cultists will mess with.
Well, some of them seem to have messed with them and managed to retain their sanity. I'm not saying, study it out in the wild. We can take it back somewhere where we can study it better and make sure we understand the larger powers that this temple draws upon. I'm curious if it's somehow connected to those mirrors that we found shattered everywhere that also were some sort of transmission for the mind. Although, unfortunately, for our friend here, it doesn't seem like he gave us very useful information, since we can't determine what he said is true or not. So Nolame starts shoving him towards the table and says, "You knew what was going to happen if you didn't provide good information." Shoves him roughly to the table and then binds him down. So, anything you want to tell me before I decide whether this is where we leave you for the next 2 hours till we come back, or this is where we leave you for the next 2 hours after I remove all of the nails on your fingers and toes? This is your last chance. You haven't really given us anything. Tell me everything you know.
I don't know, although we have given orders that each drop of blood we spill from these transients we collect is to be touched at least once to that orb. What's more, all of the mirrors hanging in this temple are to be shattered and the shards brought to the dark corridor. I know not why.
Sounds like all the more reason to destroy that thing.
I'm with Zaid.
What is the nature of the curse that you mentioned
I do not
that prevented
know.
you from using it?
He says I don't know.
Zay will give one last look over to Coulter like, well, looks like we need to destroy this thing.
I'd like to poke my head around the corner, hopefully not get noticed if there does happen to be someone or something.
So while that's happening in the torture room, Ro, you can now see that someone is looking at you through the reflection of their sword blade, and it's a bugbear.
How far away are they?
They're right around the corner.
She is going to listen to the wisdom of her party and flee back towards the torture room.
The sword blade does not move.
Alright. Sorry to interrupt. We do have a visitor, and she goes to shut the door.
Quite all right. We'll bar that.
There's some large beastie creature, hairy, wielding a sword.
Quick, let's get rid of the orb as fast as we can, and then we can deal with them.
If it's connected to domination and it does something to harm our minds, we might be left incapacitated with them out there. We should kill them first.
Nolame actually does make a good point. Usually when you destroy something magical, it unleashes something magical.
Damn it,
We're
fine.
We're going to get rid of it. There's no other way we can see in here. And like you said, we can't just leave it here, and now we can't take it with us.
Is the cultist strapped down?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Let's do this.
What did you use to strap him down?
I used the neck brace that is there, as well as the lashes. Is that just rope up by the headpiece? I thought that was also where, like, you would attach his arms to.
I'll just say yeah.
Yeah, I guess you could tie his wrists into the loops as well.
Did anybody else notice the rat?
I did not notice the rat.
Oh yeah, Mr. Rat.
Too focused on.
Wolfram, the rat.
What about it?
It knows.
You all right?
Get the weasel.
Could be a spy.
Do you want to do anything else
It's a
before you
rat.
leave the room?
Well, if we want to have the area secure, like, to deal with this orb, if we don't hear them rushing down the hallway, it seems we're going to have to go and clear them out.
If we don't hear them rushing through the hallway, we should just deal with the orb.
It's silent as the grave.
That's actually more suspicious.
Let's deal with the orb, and then get out of here. We can deal with whatever's outside while we have time. We could have dealt with the orb already.
Is the rat just watching us?
The rat is just being a rat.
Okay.
Suspicious.
It's just a rat.
Or
No.
is it the main villain?
Or is it the big, bad, evil boss of the entire thing?
Greetings, I am Charles, Entertainment Cheese.
Holy shit.
Explains so much.
Well, Zaid, I obviously can't stop you if you want to destroy the orb. Just let me see if there's anything that might inform me of what this is. Maybe I noticed something Coulter hasn't. And then I'm going to just step away and you're going to do whatever you're going to do. Do I notice anything more beyond how Coulter's described it? Has any of my, study of... My specialty was, studying in, the divine and such, so... I don't know if there would actually be anything about this I would recognize.
Nope, this is a self-explanatory torture device where they hang someone above and you see chains on the ceiling and slowly lower them over time, or hang them with the threat of lowering them.
Alrighty. Well, then I step away and say, looks like there's nothing of interest to me in that side of the room. And then I return and draw my sword next to Ro and look at the door concerned.
Zaid is gonna destroy the orb.
I was going to say, there's one main thing that has to happen.
Yeah.
I want to see what's in this barrel.
Wolfrun, you open the lid and you see a barrel full of human blood.
Oh, I put the lid back on. Say, I don't know what I expected.
Zaid, how do you attempt to destroy the orb?
He's gonna try and pick this thing up and then just literally chuck it right at the orb.
You knock over the orb.
Coulter just wincing and watching with just so much going through his head. He's just like, just gritting his teeth.
Zaid, the orb still seems to be attached to its mount.
Damn.
So, but the orb is still in its mount?
It's still between those two horn thingies.
Okay.
All right, well, now Zaid is going to... okay, well, he's going to take his older rapier and then attack it and then use a divine smite.
You try to hit it with the rapier?
Yes.
Oh, you fucking idiot. Oh my fucking god. So it smashes, and then a violet light suffuses the metal of your rapier, giving it a purple glow from here on. The light from the altar itself now dies away at this transfer of some sort of energy.
Zaid will look to the rapier and frown, knowing that he'll likely now have to be charged with carrying this thing around.
Nolame sees what happens and says, so you're definitely going to leave that here, right? We obviously can't take that evil power with us, as you said.
I'm already holding it.
I don't know.
What happens if Zaid puts the blade of the rapier into the fire?
You see no change.
Damn.
Well, Coulter, it looks like you'll have something to examine later after all.
It is but the will of the gods.
Okay, what else do you guys want to do in here?
Is there blood in these boxes too?
Yep.
It's just blood everywhere.
Wow, everything in here is just blood. Huh.
There's some items of interest here that you others might wish to examine.
We come over and it's all blood. Instead of it all being cake, everything is just blood.
Shit.
Even this lantern, blood.
Yeah, I'll be taking a vial of that poison.
Noleme, you now have a vial of poison. And by vial, I mean, it's a bottle.
I'll take some of the poison and try to coat my blade in it. And I am choosing to believe that she doesn't know enough about poisons or venoms to know that sometimes, it has to be ingested versus just exposed to the bloodstream. So she's going to take the purple one. She likes the color purple.
Cool. You now have a poisoned blade of some sort.
Sweet.
That's cool. Coulter's over here. There was a bag and a container.
Well, do you have a bag of grain
Yeah.
that you cannot fit into your inventory and a bottle of
There's a
rum?
big bag. Okay. We could use rum, various purposes. Alcohol has more uses than drinking, so I'll just take that and I'll leave the bag of grain. Wizard of Rum.
The rat says, Noleme, wait, I must tell you your destiny.
I knew it! I knew it was you all along!
It's me, Charles.
You motherfucker! You thought I wouldn't recognize you after that job went wrong?
Before we
Italians,
leave, Zaid is probably going
pizza.
to be paranoid about the rat being a familiar to the other guy. Is probably going to kill it with his talons.
Okay, you killed the rat.
I'm going to say I cannot vouch for the integrity of this rat, so I cannot interfere.
What if I was like, everyone roll initiative?
Yes! I would,
It's a were-rat.
I would
Combat
support that
music.
if you just decided to drop in a random sort of thing because we crushed the innocent rat in the corner.
He's dead now. What do you do?
Nolame says to the group, I know we're not able to disguise ourselves as these things out there, but just in case they're just outside the door, someone open the door, maybe Coulter with Mage Hand. I'll cast an illusion, just a visual illusion of myself walking out, and if they're just waiting around the corner to jump us, at least they'll jump my illusion and not someone with actual blood in their veins.
Nolame, you also saw that there's
Very
a
nice.
spy bar on the side of the door.
Oh, that's right. That's right. All right, I look out the spy door to see if I can see anything.
You don't see anything.
Okay. He said to the north, so any objection to the plan of kick the door open, cast the spell, if nothing comes running at us, then we just make our way north and shut this door behind us.
Zaid nods.
Nolame prepares his minor illusion if Coulter... that way we're not next to the door. Coulter, you have the ability to use Mage Hand, don't you?
Yes.
Yes, if you could push the door open, and then I'll cast that.
I'll attempt to do so.
So I have the image of myself. It's just an image. It's not creating sound. It walks out and then turns to the left without walking in that direction. Do we hear anything happening, Boar?
Once it reaches a certain point, you hear a gruff and guttural language, like a predator challenging someone new to its territory. Wolfrun, you hear, "Who are you? What are you doing here?"
I answer back in Goblin. We're on a quest to wipe out the cultists in this temple.
I see. Fine. We're on a quest of our own. Go your own way, elfkin, and leave us be, lest we suck the marrow from your bones for dinner.
It's kind of a mixed message, but all right.
Right. Let's head north. Villanay dismisses his illusion and then walks out and starts heading towards the right.
The party continues unmolested.
All right. So what does it look like in here in this room with the ladder?
It is as you see here, just ladders, some stalactites, some columns, and stalagmites. It goes up a shaft quite a ways into another part of this complex.
Zaid will hold up the shield above his head and then slowly begin the ascent.
Nolame winds his hand crossbow and fits a bolt into it. That way he can shoot as he peeks out, and he'll go second behind Zaid.
I'll bring up third.
What do you think? The two with the crossbows first, and then Zaid and Ro would charge around us after we fire our first shots?
I'm not a fan of putting the archers first, but that's just me.
Yeah, I keep getting concerned about, like, I don't want to be the fucker that ends up, like, shooting Zaid in the back of the goddamn head whenever I try to pull off a shot.
You're concerned, but, like,
Yeah.
from a purely strategic point, the guy with the shield should always go first.
Good advice. Zaid, would you mind leading the way?
Alright, the party, once moving east, finds a man next to the dying light of a fading lantern. Its architecture strange and foreign. He's clutching a long, exotic weapon and is wearing raiments none besides one of the party has ever seen. Papers litter the floor around him. Zaid, you can tell that his legs are broken and his foot has been torn or gnawed off.
Either a cave-in or a beast has done this man in, but he's still alive. Zaid will approach. He'll tap his beak together subtly to try and get the individual's attention as he approaches.
Do his clothes look church attire, like a priest, or?
Roll history, Ro. So Ro, Wolfrun, and Noleme can understand him. Noleme, it's kind of hard to see where you're standing right now, but if you do move closer, I assume you do.
Yes.
This is definitely a Janisary. And he speaks Elvish, though his accent is strange. It's more clipped and terse. Like, instead of like, Ulathuin Andromeda, it'd be like, Ulathuin Andromeda. He looks up at the party and very weakly points the strange weapon he was clutching at them, and then his eyes squint at Noleme.
Nolame makes his way past Ro and Zaid, almost dreamlike, like he can't believe what he's seeing here. And he kneels down next to the Janissary, and using the High Elven dialect of Elvish, he asks what the servant is doing here, and what does his master want?
What do we want? He kind of laughs at himself and swallows, his caked blood around his lips, and he says, "We were sent here behind enemy lines, looking for a secret weapon of some sort. They might know more. Delion is our prefect, though," and then his eyes turn towards the western side of the room. "The ancient curse has changed him in some way."
There's a curse here that's able to affect the blood of the old elves?
He nods slowly, though there is a part of him that doesn't seem to understand himself, and you can read that on his face.
Nolame remains extremely concerned and asks what could be here that could harm the islands.
I do not know, though once our prefect entered here with the other Janissaries. He pushes down his veil, which is anathema to the code of the Janissaries. He continues to talk so that he might be able to breathe better, and he says, "He became sick and ill due to the ancient curse of this land and of the blood of the Eldar. Though what we were looking for is unknown exactly to me. He seemed to be operating on his own orders. I'm sure we are in the right place. We must be close. Kelvin happened to, and then he points up into the east a little bit. That way is where he entered. And ever since his change, he started tearing us apart. When he fed on my flesh, he took it to that corner there, and has been there ever since. He has the strength of 10 men's, but the mind of some sort of imbecile or fish. There is a darkness here, a darkness that needs to be eradicated. I do not understand it. I do not understand why you are here. Who are you, if not some dream from beyond?
Nolame leans down a little bit closer. Is this a full elf or a half elf?
He's a human.
He's a human Janisary?
All Janisary is a human.
Oh, that's right. Oh, god damn it, that's right. Sorry, I remember that now. He leans down so that the Janissary can, even in the dim light, see that Nolame is a half-elf, and says, I'm here just as you, serving the people in a way that we can't back at home. I don't think that you're going to see that home again. Is there a particular person on the islands that I could bear a message to in the future to let them know about how valiantly you served?
He informs you that he believes his pod, which is what they call a squad, under a prefect who is an elf, he believes his pod has been eaten or destroyed by the changed elf. But he also reveals he knows that there's another pod around Kirim. That's what the humans call it. Even though he is a human, he still refers to humans as some sort of other entity. And upon looking upon his armor, you see, this sign. So that's the symbol on his armor.
Nolame leans down gently, but carefully places his hand over the insignia.
So yeah, he is also offering his double-sided blade to Nolame, and Nolame, you know, based on your history, that he's offering you to euthanize him.
Ah, right, thank you. Nolame turns to Zaid and in Elvish says, it is not appropriate to speak anything other than the Elder Tongue in the presence of a dying servant. And then he turns back to the Janissary and accepts the blade and without any other word uses it to end his life by cutting his throat.
Those who can see do not see the glint of shock in his eyes as he dies. So he tried to die away from the documents around him.
Ro bows her head in a solemn gesture and takes a breath. That was a good deed you did for him. But speaking of good deeds, I am concerned about those we left up above, and I think that due to how isolated we are down here, moving them perhaps to, as unsightly as it seems, the torture chamber might be safer for them. So I think I'm going to quickly make my way back up there just to shepherd them into that chamber. But I'll rejoin you all once I can.
So Zaid'll side-eye the act of euthanasia and lean over to pick up one of the papers.
Wolfrun can also see the paper he's picking up. You see a picture of like a half-elf woman, and there's stuff written in Elvish. And Wolfrun, you can see on the description, there's some space left blank on that page that's bordered with decoration, and there's a portrait of a half-elf woman.
Are these who they're searching for?
Can you make any of these out? Is there some connection between these elf-speaking men and the dark corridor?
I think they may have been looking for someone. The paper you're holding seems to be a picture of someone with a description of them. I don't know if there's necessarily a connection between them and the dark corridor, if they ended up here under similar circumstances as we did, trying to find someone or something.
Nolame, you could tell that he was pretty distraught, actually, by this guy dying. So he wasn't necessarily looking around, but he heard you describe a picture of a half-elf woman, and he asks if he can see the picture.
Zaid hands it over lazily as he starts trying to pry open the chest.
Do I recognize this person, Boar?
It's your mama. What do you mean by Janissary?
This is one of the few who are recognized in Minaris as actually having some place within the pattern. The fact that a servant of the pattern would be this far south is extremely concerning. There are plenty of powerful magics in Minaris. The fact that something here is viewed as problematic enough to send a group of these, I was just curious before. Now I am actually legitimately concerned. So after Nolame goes ahead and at least covers the body as well as he can in this makeshift cairn, he stands back up and turns towards Zaid and the rest of the group and says, "There's something down here that managed to, from what the poor man said, curse the leader of their squad. The leader of the Janissaries is always a full-blooded elf from Menaris, so just the fact that it was turned into something that would eat the flesh of its underlings is of particular potency. The elves of Menaris are relatively static in their placement in the pattern. The fact that one's form could be changed like this, I didn't actually think that it was supposed to be able to happen given the specific training and normal wardings on the Janisary.
Oh, perhaps they ran into the Beholder or some other member of the Dark Corridor up this way.
I mean, I knew that there were, like, humans and things here, but I honestly never imagined that it was actually a legitimate concern. Maybe to, like, Avendrad it was a concern, but this is, like, an actual problem. Just this brief exposure to someone from Menaris is really bringing out the High Elven superiority cultural bias from Nolame, to where he's indicating, like, no, you don't understand, like, High Elf society's in trouble now.
Yeah.
This matters.
Actual people.
How do I get out of this hole I've dug myself into? There we go.
Say that every day when I wake up.
All right, you know there's something else in this cavern, and you know there's something to the north, and you know there was a cave into the east. What do you wish to do now, and how do you wish to do it?
It occurs to me that if a man gets cursed and moves off into a direction, he's probably going towards whatever's summoning him.
Nolame all this time has been thinking back to what the Janisary was talking about and how the afflicted person ripped one of his legs off and was eating it, and after reflecting on this, speaks up to the group and says, well, whether we decide to deal with it now or not, although I imagine given what it likely is, we will. It sounds like the prefect may have been turned into a troll somehow. There is this legend that...
Troll?
A troll. There is a legend in Menaris that trolls are a corruption, a decay in the pattern that was afflicted upon its perfect embodiments. I always just thought it was more creative storytelling about our early days. But, well, that could qualify as some sort of affliction or curse that would affect a high elf.
If that is the curse, then how does one remove it?
We don't know, but we can confront it. It's entirely likely that the gemstone we seek is also the solution to this problem.
Its power is already spoken for, though.
Can't do more than one.
I cannot go back on the honor-bound oath that I made.
Well, how do we know it's only a one-use thing?
That's what the one who believed that they were too far gone said.
I mean, he was part reptile at that point. How accurate could that information be?
We only have an evening after this to get back there.
Beyond that, let's also examine the fact that if the gem can't cure both the afflicted prefect and the snake men, what makes us believe it hasn't been used on someone already? See, logically, we should be able to do both, because otherwise it would be worthless.
Nolame just falls in line with what the more experienced warriors of the group are determining to do.
Everyone roll stealth, please.
I clearly stumble over my own 2 feet and land in such a manner that both of my axes fall out from my waistband and come crashing down on the floor. And I can only assume that Nolame trips over my body.
You hear like a rustling and a from the south and west.
Oh, Lord.
And it was more like a
Keeping in mind that Wolfrun has not had a full rest in probably about 3 or 4 days. So he's probably getting a little clumsy.
You do hear more rustling and curious and questing movements from the south and west, like some sort of large creature moving over objects and wood. Alright, the party now reformed as it is. You see large double doors before you.
I can't imagine there won't be traps here at the threshold of the paranoid trap-setting asshole. The coast is clear. I see absolutely no traps in the final hallway up to the Trapmaster.
So Zaid, you do see a tripwire.
I go, ooh, and I kind of hold out my shield.
Eagle eye indeed. There's always one or two that are more well-placed than others.
Yeah, Coulter mutters as he's watching. He's like, I've been here before. You found another trap.
Besides just this first tripwire?
Aye. I've been having this distinct disturbance since we approached. He's sweating and his fingers are kind of rubbing together in his robe. And it's like, they're watching and waiting.
After he pointed this out, do I notice a second trap anywhere else in the room?
Beyond that drain, there is another tripwire.
I point this out to the rest of the party and say, whatever led him to believe there was a second trap in the room, he was correct. There is a second tripwire on the other side there. So, Zaid, if you want to go ahead and check the door first, I think we've hopefully found all of the traps according to Coulter's knowledge of the situation.
And Nolame and Wolfrun, you can kind of see some depressions in the moss in the middle.
Well, do we take the chance at cutting the wire? Do each one of us try and make sure we don't fucking trip over ourselves in the dark? If I were to have a light in here, would we get an advantage on trying to step over these wires? Excellent. And now, looking to make sure there are somehow no third traps that we've managed to dodge over the entire time I come join Wolfrun and Zaid.
Holy shit. It is just the party between the door. What do you do? The door is as it appears in the game. Large metal wooden struts, metal knockers.
We just go in, try and separate at least one of them away from the rest of them. Have one of us, whoever's wearing the disguise, walk a little bit farther in so we have various angles to move, and just try not get killed. If you don't want to wear it, Wolfrun, I'll go ahead and put on the disguise. I put on the robe.
I guess we looked for a way to open them up.
Here we go. And he attempts to push open the door.